Good morning. This is Ken Long with the daily debriefing for the market from May 17th, 2016. Today was another one of these sideways, large range, mostly signal days, repeating the day on, day off pattern it looks like here, with as big a down day as it was a big up day on Monday. So no change from this sideways choppiness. Now you notice the 30-day regression line has dipped below the dotted line, so the slope of the 30 is downward. The 10 is about flat. Still looking at a trading range between swing high around 212 and the 200-day moving average around 200. A nice lazy W here from Sonal with a pocket entry and cashing at the Z2. I like getting paid early. Well done. The power of the pencil and paper for sketching your interpretation of your trading plan. This is from Eric. Just a fantastic job of internalizing a lot of different patterns and strategies and perspectives and mental states that he's working on, and he's rehearsing how that trading plan can go. And there's a lot of artistic judgment in here, and there's artistic judgment involved with being a discretionary rules-based trader. And so this is a way to encode those patterns in your circuitry. Well done. Here's Yolanda with a long hybrid frog. Micro win here, catching it as it comes out of the dragon. A short owl entry. She makes a note this might have been a little bit late, and it breaks even here. So yeah, could we maybe have gotten this a bar earlier? Maybe so. Not horrible. This one is a test of the Z2. On a money management basis, maybe we can at least get this paid, paying the round trip. So maybe a little bit tighter, but I do like the capital preservation. Resumption short. I like that idea. Expect them to come down to 270 and beyond. We see later on it does exactly that. Nice profit preservation. This is a pocket, but I think this is premature because, as she notes, the RL30 is still down. So that's one that we got to remove from our kit bag. And this is really a 1, 2, 3, and then she nails the collapsing dragon here for the one that pays it all. So netting 0.6 out of this. I think we just got to clean up this fourth trade. We're in great shape. From Eric, working through various pocket trades, and he's getting fractional. So here's 0.4, 0.15, 0.65, a minus 0.15. Was taking a break. I think there was some maybe an emotional cost in here, getting a break, and then the main point is the collapsing dragon. There's a million of these that we don't get, right? But the point is to look at the pattern, the 1, 2, 3, and then we draw the line across from the base of the dragon's belly and lead you into the massive morning trade. This was a nice scratch. This was kind of dead money as it goes into a sideways quiet channel. I really like his professionalism and his markup and his strategy for self-improvement. Nice learning journal entry here. We saw Eric's sketch, and then his trading sketches and preparation, and then his trade management ideas down here. So making these plans his own. This is Sinal with a hybrid frog. A nice entry. Very nice exit after an excursion almost to Z3 and catching it on this side of the dragon. And this makes it, a 0.5 R that got as much as a 1 R. But, if you let that come all the way back through the dragon, it negates all that nice move in there. So I like the coming out of that with 0.5. From Yasik, this is the unambiguous move down in RLCO, crossing the river, dragon up, 30 up, bingo on the owl. Nice profit preservation. I like the reentry. I like the scratch as this is rolling over, becoming an owl, and there just wasn't much there. Still, a nice, you got the trade that was there, and we're disciplined on the remainders. If anything, could this been a little bit earlier up in here? Maybe so, but still, that's not a bad exit, especially coming out of the Z3 pinch. Wasn't much more there to get, so gets the most of that. As far as I know, this is a new way to think about the trendiness and suitability for trading of these different vehicles. I'm thinking now about how we prefer targets. Basically, how long does it stay in the trend? Is it much less in order to get its return? Whatever the measured return of the rule set is, there's an entry and then some rule takes you out. How long in that trend were you relative to other rule sets or to other targets using the same rule set? Were you was it quick turnaround, so less than average minus 1 SD? So we're measuring the variation in time between 1 SD and average, between average and 1 SD, or more than average and 1 SD. So the longer you stay in that trade, the higher up that scale it goes. My preference is to get there sooner, although this is going to be a more volatile move. I find the volatile moves less ambiguous, and if you can be quick, then my preference is to be further down this scale. And then how much of a gain is it adjusted for volatility? More than average plus an SD up in the green zone, white, yellow, red. So for me, I want things that are greater than average and plus 1 SD on the gain, so big gains, and I want those gains to be big, fast gains. It's, to me, the least ambiguous trading vehicle. So one of the things I'm thinking about this sorting scheme is, as we look at a population of targets and we start doing the performance stats on there, I think they start inhabiting different regions in here, and then depending on how volatile you want it or how much time you want in to manage the trade, if we can get some kind of target array of the performance of our primary targets, then that's maybe a way to tune our targets with our preferences for how we want to manage. So this is a work in progress, but this was just to get the idea documented and start thinking about it out loud. A Shea with a pocket. I like the cash. This is an owl. Wasn't there. I like the exit. I like the reversal and cash. The continuation pocket. So this was nicely done. 0.45. That's a wash. 0.2 and 1. So that's 1.25. 1.2 out of this sequence. That's a nice day at work. And there may have been another owl developing here with a short side, and with the dragon rolling over this thing, good chance of it coming back to the VWAP. So nicely played throughout here. I like all those ideas. Here's a owl rolling over. Maybe it's no, that's in good shape because the 30 doesn't roll over to here. Maybe that trade could fire right in here instead of down here, but still that's not bad. Crashes through the VWAP, gets the first little retracement in here, cashing 1R. That's what 1R looks like, which also means that the owl entry from here to here is an R. So getting a nice move. take a look at this one too. Z3PO pinch breakout. I think this maybe comes a little bit late. If this is the pinch, then that Z3 entry should be right about here. Rather than here, maybe that's some slippage. Big spike and recovery, way to capture the R. Here's the Z3 pinch head fake that I talked about in yesterday's debriefing. So I think you can get this right here as it crosses the VWAP out of the pinch. If this didn't get you short, or if this did get you short, then that's your stop and reverse move on the Z3P channel. But I still like this entry here, and nice cash, and an owl starting to form. 1.1R, nice. Disney, this is a 1, 2, 3, or even a 1, 2, 3 and fail. Perfect collapsing dragon, as noted, 3R and counting. So this is tracking the Z3 line on the way down. There's also a short right here as well, because if you count this as a 1, 2, 3, that's the lower high. You draw this line across, bingo, there's your short, and now you're deeply into that one, and you're piling on. And now take a look at this one. 1, 2, 3, and here's the collapsing dragon later in the day from this support level from the open. So I think there's a second position. If this is your first position, that's probably an R, and that's the second position right there on the collapse of the intraday support. This looks like Disney a little bit later, and he's marked up the 1, 2, 3. And if this was your owl entry, that's why that's got to be your stop. You can't be forcing the owl to work. I'm going to make it work by force of will. This stop here is, you know, a quarter of an R or maybe even a half an R, depending where you get the entry. But it protects you against all this. So there was the other CD, correct? This looks like Yasik, yes, with HD. All the elements of the owl. Maybe this is a little late. I don't know. The third, this could have been, I think, the entry here. But still, that's a nice 1.12. Notices the dragon horns up here around Z3, and so he doesn't wait for this to come back in here. I'm noticing Yasik starting to get these exits now with money in hand. A couple dots in the PSAR, that's enough. 1, 2, 3. Cash those. 1.12. Well done. 3M. A reasonable owl. Maybe it could have been earlier. Still, that's not horrible. And that's a reasonable cash. And you didn't really give up much in the next 10 to 15 bars. Half an R. Yolanda with an RLCO. Here is I think that's an owl or dragon explosion or dragon rising. So 1, 2, 3, bingo. Love that pattern. What a fantastic exit. And now 1, 2, 3, ready to get long. I like this. A quarter of an R. Hey, it's worth a shot, because if this works, then that next leg up is as big as this leg. So that's a reasonable shot to take, especially with the VWAP raising and the RL270 raising and the dragon rising. That's an excellent opportunity right there. All right, that's everything I wanted to cover today. We're about 20 minutes into this rascal, so keep your wrist measured and your powder dry.